Bleak Faith Forsaken, a game that's equivalent of asking your mom if she can buy you Elden Ring for her to say, "We have Elden Ring at home."
Stop being so...
Bleak Faith Forsaken is a janky, rough mess, but something keeps drawing me in. Made by 3 people from Archangel Studios, who saw the graphics from Unreal Engine and said yes. In Bleak Faith Forsaken, you play as this thing, a robotic humanoid, where your purpose is to traverse this gloomy, desolate world. But before you dive into the game of Ladder Simulator, to how is this thing not dead, to what the hell is that, you need to know the story. When you first start the game up, you're greeted with the opening cutscene of the daily life of cyborgs getting whomped on. Then a cyborg shanks a dude in the head with a large knife that magically appeared. Alright, that's the story. Suddenly the game starts where you're on a rooftop looking at some Robo Birdy. If you're confused, well, so am I. All I know is I got a lead pipe and something's going to get hit. However, as soon as you move the controls, you're met with too much speed and sensitivity. It feels like you're playing Elden Ring, but instead you're riding torrent at all times. The game will tell you some tips on how to play, like dash to dash, but then proceeding not to telling you on what that button is to dash. So you'll be resorting to the settings on all your controls. Combat follows the rule of swing for the ropes. Like in Elden Ring, you can choose to do a stab or a swing attack. In Bleak Faith Forsaken, it chooses it for you. One of the first enemies I find that you hit with your pipe with happens to be a Voltorb that sends me into the North Korea space program, only to land on another one. Combat is hitting something and running away. Rinse and repeat. The hardest part is make sure you have stamina, or else you'll just be standing there. You'll be dying quite a lot. Luckily, nothing happens to you, you just respawn to die again. Like in Elden Ring, you will just lose the souls you had. In Bleak Faith Forsaken, you just lose your dignity. Whatever loot you happen to find will stay in your inventory forever. Equip new armor and actual weapon that was hiding in this janky inventory system. Fighting enemies now is a little bit more manageable. I wanted to turn down the music to hear more in-game audio, but that wasn't working, so I tried turning off the sound completely off. However, that just made the game louder. But wait, we're getting to the best part of the game, Ladder Simulator. That only takes little 2 minutes to climb up. Finding new gear to see a rating system that of course the game doesn't explain what they mean. If I have to look up a simple info about the game on Wikipedia, then that's a problem. That could easily be explained by hovering over it and be like, hey idiot, this is what it means. Just in case you're wondering what they mean, the axe means protection against sharp, the hammer is blunt, and the skull is magic. I required a claymore, one of my favorite weapons from Dark Souls, and I was quite excited to use this in Bleak Faith, until I actually had to use it. Huh? For some odd reason, I continued to use it into the first boss fight of the game, the tutorial boss, Konrad the Traitor. I love this part of the game because it actually makes you appreciate how ridiculous this gets. You stand there with no stamina next to a boss whispering in his ear, "Hey baby, you smell good." Instead of, throwing out a weaker attack. But nope, let's stand there talking about the weather. Next would be him sending out a shockwave turning into a ragdoll from Happy Wheels. Whatever happens, happens as you become one with the wall and can't move. Someone also please tell me you had trouble using the claymore. This is getting out of hand. I've died a few times, so here's a good time to talk about health potions. You can carry as much as your heart desires, but you can only have 2 during combat. I wise up and retired the claymore for the classic sword and board, and the fight has gone 10 times easier. Taking him out with no problem at all, and not even close, baby.
My god, I'm about to shit myself.
We kill him to gain random items, but most importantly, his weapon. That is life-size, which is pretty neat. Talk to the NPCs, that I'm not very sure what they do, but just talk. Wish he would have warned me about what was ahead, so I could have brought snacks. Ahead was a long-ass ledge runway following a ladder simulator, with tight hallway with tight spaces with NPCs who are chilling a little too hard. More ladders, run in circles, and ladders. After that, you meet the handler who upgrades your weapons and armor. As there's no leveling up your character per se, instead you level up your weapons with crystals to make them have lifesteal or make them have sharper or something. Also in this area, it teaches you something, and I mean teach very loosely because it doesn't teach you shit. This thing is your respawn and fast traveler to other things called mirages. The homunculus is a mobile respawn similar to the mirage. Each area you explore, there's only going to be one mirage, and usually it's at the very beginning of the stage. As you're making your way through, you might find a boss lurking about that is most likely going to kill you. You respawn at the start of the area where all the mobs respawn, making you want to smash your head in. With this thing, you could plop one down before the boss, and when you die, you respawn at the homunculus ready to fight the boss. Bleak Faith Forsaken comes with fair share of bugs, and to be frank, I don't mind them as much, but I do mind fighting the giants that you come across. You swing at their legs for what seems like an eternity, for it to take a knee, and then you have to climb on top of its back to stab it with a knife, creating a supernova. Then back to swing its legs again. After a few times of it, it should be dead. Hopefully. Getting a ranged weapon like a bow actually feels pretty good. I'm sure... What's going on over here? In a world full of gray and grim, something is throwing an RGB party. Anyway, back to what I was saying, the bow feels pretty good with no problem. The classic reverse walk and pretend you're not getting shot at. The old hide under the covers trick. Speaking of not seeing things, there will be floating things around from Death Stranding. You can't see them very well and they can't die. They sometimes move to block your way, to be a big pain in the ass. But not more of a pain in my tushy than these flying meatballs. What is the progression of your character, seeing how you don't have any level to base off? Technically there is levels, it's based off your gear and rings you put on. The game of course didn't tell me, but apparently I have a perk to pick. Some are definitely unique and you can have up to 3, and I don't think you can swap them out once you pick, so choose wisely. I recommend picking the vampire one as you heal after each connecting hit. Like this this giant that I've been fighting for at least 7 minutes. Oh, and this giant happens to be a regular mob in the game, and I'm using a giant killing weapon. But I guess it beats ladder simulator. Just like in Elden Ring, we can realistically go wherever we want, like fighting lost long assets from Unreal Engine. You see this truck that looks like Dizzy drove in Gears of War, or this flying robotic thing that reminds me of that thing from, wait, now I'm flying, as I once again find myself part of North Korea's space program. Getting to this part of the video, they actually implement heavy tax, but you have to key it in, which is still a little awkward. However, I don't recommend using heavy tax anyway, as you swing a little slower than Ethan from Heavy Rain trying to catch up with his kid. Some parts of the game you can actually get lost in the environment. Seriously, I mean, you really get lost. I've been climbing up these stairs in this abandoned house for quite some time, only to find out there's nothing up here. Back down we go. Luckily, I found some new armor where I can cosplay as a Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz, only to find myself on ladder simulator. But there is something much worse than going up or down a ladder, and that is elevators. This took me about 10 minutes to reach the top. We met with some flying creature that is throwing his bone marrow at me.
Wait, no, jump, you fuck! Oh my god, no. Oh.
Now's a good time to check and see if you have any abilities to choose from. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty excited to summon an elemental to help me in battle.
Hello there.
Oh, that's cool. Alright, floaty buddy, let's go and die. Oh, it's stuck.
Let's try this again.
Help me, you flying fuck!
Yes, another giant, my favorite. Well, that took no time at all, where we walk into a boss fight. Visage the flying but not Birdie. I was doing okay until I wanted to use his own black holes, and now I'm not okay. I spawn on top of the elevator area where I'm met with shrapnel all over my face. Second time, I'm a little bit faster to the fast travel somewhere else, and now I'm in the sky. Third time I spawn in the game is broken where it looks like I'm part of the sky, but I'm not flying, I think. Fourth time is a charmer, I take out whatever that is and try to hop over to fight some samurais. Alright, fifth time's a charmer, I make it over, and I should have stayed where I was. But I guess it beats running all the way over here for no damn reason, but to look at a flying snake that's actually your Uber ride, but it left without me. So we take the elevator instead. I, for some sick reason, got a little impatient and decided to test gravity. Don't have time for the floaty boy thing to have a seizure, I have a bird to fry. But I want to explore the battle arena by hopping a fence, and I ain't supposed to be here. Birdie doesn't care where I'm at and decides to fight at least, or try to. It can't hurt me, but I'm hurting it. Never mind, it definitely hurts. Wait, do y'all hear that? Are you making that noise? Oh god, there's more of them. After it gets tired of me dicking around, it channels its inner demon, spawning these death portals everywhere. Maybe it's my weapon. Let's try out these dual swords. Well, that went well. Taking this lift up to a lever, it's so dark I didn't see anything else. So back down we go, which I thought was pretty weird. Oh well, let's go somewhere else. Make my way through Spider Grandma, I find this plagued nemesis who is a total dick. But I don't care about dying, as I'm gonna go back to the 5-minute lift ride to pull a lever and then leave. Upon further investigation, I concluded I can't see shit. Killing myself is faster than taking the lift back down. Upon reviving, I find myself in the void. This area looks a little familiar. After dying a few more times for fun, I take myself back to reality. Going back up to the lift, I see if there's a ladder, and I'm going to be so mad if there... Motherfucker. This takes us to everyone's favorite, underwater level. Hopping in the water, I figured out how to dive deeper, but I don't know how to come back up. I thought going up the ladder was slow. Well, turns out swimming takes the cake. Oh, and be careful, these glowing eels aren't friendly. Taking all my armor off, thinking logically to swim faster. Follow all the red lights to a big ol' eye. Brought to a different world and recalibrate. What does recalibrate mean? Pretty much you just made the game harder for yourself. Enjoy. Hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Lando. Like and subscribe if you did. Hope to see you guys in the next video. Later.